So you just mentioned you're wanting to scale back. So does that mean like staying at, the current, because what's your MRR now, or monthly? How much do you make per month as DesignJoy?
It's around 130 to 140 right now.
That's so awesome. But I imagine
Yeah, it's I mean, it's incredible, yeah.
but I imagine you're
But
so
yeah,
busy.
I mean, if you think about it, so a month ago, before I joined Twitter, where I was blessed with the Twitter sphere, I was at 80K. I've had that much growth in the last month. That is
Wow.
not all good. Not all good at all. Not all rainbows and butterflies with
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, it's the same size team. It's just me still like managing
Yeah, it's just you.
already like an insane workload.
Right.
And then just overnight, I mean, I had to like shut things down. Like for the first time in my life, like, or the first time through DesignJoy, I should say, like just stopped allowing people to sign up. I created a waiting list. In literally 2 weeks. I just tweeted about this. It's over 100 people now on the waiting list.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, I have no idea. I'll never get to these people. Like, I'm gonna leave them hanging for months and months and never probably get to them.
Right.
And meanwhile, there's gonna be a continuation of a flow of people coming in. So, like last night, I doubled my prices. I went to 5K, and like shit, you not like every single time this happens, I think it's gonna slow things down. I got 9 calls booked overnight. So it's like
Wow.
it's this thing that it's just like this. I don't. It's like it's pushing me in the direction of scaling. It's like scale, 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 like higher, higher, and I'm like, I don't want to.
I
So
love
I
it. I
thought
love
like,
it. You're the one person who doesn't want to scale it. And it's just that's like magically pushing everything that
yeah,
momentum that direction. It's so funny.
it is, and it's been like, and I was literally like, I never get out, but I was like, dude, I need to get out of the house. I went down to like a Chinese restaurant, sat down by myself, and
Yeah.
I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, what do I do? Like I continue to watch like calls get booked and stuff like that. I'm like, I got to shut this thing down. Like, I got to
Yeah.
remove my waiting list, something I never thought I would have a problem doing. Like, I thought putting a waiting list up would be the solution. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, if I have 100 people waiting to get in, I'm too cheap. Like, maybe
Right.
that's the solution to stop this. And went home, immediately did like within, this was like a 20-minute decision, just double my prices. And I got on my email list, sent an email out to everyone that had a call booked in the future because I didn't want to shock them and say, "Hey, by the way,
Right.
it's now 5 grand." I haven't had a single call canceled, and I've had almost 10 of them booked. So, I feel like that's not the solution. Maybe I go higher. Maybe I just shut things off completely because it gets to the point where I'm not going to be able to handle it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can only do so much
Yeah.
myself, at least. So, yeah, it's a crazy cool problem to have, but it's not without its downfalls. I've like this last week, I've worked from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. every day, and it's draining. It is
Mhm.
absolutely draining on my like work style, like my mental state. Like it's exhausting.
Yeah. Well, and you said you have a family, right? That has to be tough.
It's extremely tough, and it for the first like 3 or 4 years, I was just extremely driven. I was like, at all costs, like I'm gonna build this thing up.
Mm.
Like, this is what entrepreneurs do, right? Like, I made that excuse, and then these past few months, I've just been honestly kinda sick of it, like, sick of myself, like, putting my work in front of my family and taking time away from my kids because I have kids, and
Mm.
that's where this, like, sense of scaling back and this desire to just become smaller is really coming from recently. It wasn't this thing that, like, I always wanted to do. But yeah, it's not all rainbows and butterflies running a business like this.
Yeah. What have you been doing anything to take care of your mental health at all? Like anything, or just like grinding right now?
No.
Yeah.
Grinding. I've never stopped grinding, and for the first time in my life, I'm finally feeling burnt out. Like, I'm feeling this reaction I get from people. It's so funny, like, when I get on calls with people and they don't know it's a one-man show, and they like, "So tell me about your team." It's just the most hilarious reactions that I get, and I'm starting to finally, like, feel that myself, because
Yeah.
forever I was just like this machine, right? Like, I was put through something that I don't think any other designer in the entire planet has been put through in the amount of work that I've done in the 5 years.
Mm.
I did not start out able to manage what I manage now.
Yeah.
I only through being put through that fire and being forged
Right.
along the way for so long. But now, and it's like been easy. Now it feels hard. Like every single day I wake up, look at my workload, and I'm like, can't do this much longer. Like
Yeah.
I'm feeling the weight of it all.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when you think about scaling back, do you think because the first thing I think is like, man, if you have demand, like doubling the prices, quadruple the prices, and
yeah, some people told me to do.
get like whatever, a quarter of the clients, I don't know. It seems like a tough problem. And I imagine too, if you have like really loyal customers who you've worked with for a long time, who you really enjoy working with, it's going to be hard to
Mhm.
like totally raise prices on them too.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a tough spot, but man, it's pretty inspiring. I mean, yeah, I guess it's like all now you're like right in the middle of it. And I think that's funny to see like the Twitter explosion and all this stuff and here talking to you, I'm like this guy is like you're not the classic like just trying to build a big ass business. You know, it's like so
Not at all. I don't want that at all. I am a designer. I do not call myself an entrepreneur at all, like in any world, in any sphere. I'm just a designer that like wanted to make design accessible
yeah,
and affordable. That's it. I didn't this isn't a traditional business by any means. It's a glorified freelancing gig.
right. For sure.